I had a different video I was going to do, and God led me in this direction. Let me ask you two questions. How many of you are overlooking your dreams? You have not written your dreams down. You don't pay attention to your dreams. You think that dreams are nonsense and things of that nature. The second question, how many of you still looking for your purpose? How many of you don't know what it is that you're called to do? You're overlooking your dreams. But I bet your bottom dollar that God has already showed you your destiny and your purpose in a dream. Some of you run from a dream because you can't figure out what the dream means, but you don't search the matter out. Some of you don't pay attention to it because you think it's so far-fetched that there is no way that this can be God. Some of you just don't care either way, but yet and still your prayer is, God, what am I called here to do? What is my purpose here on the earth? What do you want from me? And God have showed you over and over and over in so many different ways. But because you did not get the revelation of what God was saying the way that you think you should get it, you miss your blessing. You're like Naaman. Naaman almost missed his blessing because he didn't want to go dip where Elijah told him that he should go and dip in order to be healed from his leprosy. Your leprosy is not knowing who you are, what your purpose is, what God has called you to do. And you're study asking God and telling people you don't know what it is that you're called to do, but you're overlooking the very thing that God has said to you. I get a lot of messages and a lot of people comment about dreaming of eagles. And let me say this while I'm on this topic. Just because you dream of eagles and you see eagles, it does not mean that God is calling you to be a prophet. Eagles can mean many different things. Eagles can represent the presence of God being with you. When God is on your side, when you see an eagle on your side, when you see an eagle surrounding you, God is letting you know that you have divine protection. You know, even if you see white eagles, they are angels that are surrounding you and things of that nature. But you have had a dream or you have seen in a vision where God has showed you your purpose. God showed Joseph his purpose, and Joseph had no idea that he was going to have to run through all of the bells and whistles and jump through all of the hoops and go into the prisons and things of that nature that he had to go through in order to get to purpose. But God showed him the end from the beginning. When we look at Isaiah, God showed Isaiah in a vision who he was, high and lifted up. He revealed to Isaiah who he was, and Isaiah looked at himself and saw that he was a man of unclean lips, and that he dwelled among people that were all around him that had the same issue. They were people of unclean lips, and they worshiped a king who was King Uzziah, who they lifted high, and they could not see the true and living king because they were worshiping a physical king. So Isaiah had to see himself. And in seeing himself, soon as Uzziah died, he saw Christ. He saw the king. He saw his train that filled the temple. And then he had a conversation which converted him when Jesus said to him, "Who shall we send? Who will go for us?" And Isaiah said, "Here am I, Lord. Send me." Purpose in a vision. But when you overlook your visions and you overlook your dreams and you think that it's just something that you were just seeing that is normal, this is the reason why you still have the question of who am I and what am I called to do? There are many of you, you see yourself having conversations with Most High, having conversations with God in different places, and you wake up and you avoid the dream, you overlook the dream, you dismiss the dream. You're having visions and you're seeing yourself doing certain things and dressed in certain colors and things of that nature, and you overlook it because you don't understand what it means, but you don't seek the matter out. You don't solve the puzzle. You're not looking into the mystery. Many of us, we think that because we are so self-focused and self-centered and think that God should cater to us and come to us and just plainly tell us what it is that we called to do, when there's something in you that God wants to develop in you and bring out of you so that it can give you the revelation of who you are. God is not a human being who is going to cater to you. There are many of you, you have accomplished all of your dreams. You have done everything that you wanted to do, and now you feel this nudging of God. But because of who you are, because of your influence, because of your power, because of your impact, because of your resources, you think that God should come to you in the way that man comes to you. You think that God should humble himself and come down on bend and knee and say to you, okay, now you've got all this stuff. I need you to do this, that, and the other for me. No, that's not God. God was the one that blessed you with everything that you have so that you would have the influence, so that you would have the voice to move forward in the things of God and to be about his business. Many of you are missing what you are called to do. And let me also say this, because God laid this on my heart. Many of you, you know your destiny dreams, and you're so busy running your mouth, you don't share your destiny dreams with anyone and anybody, everything and everybody. You share your destiny dreams when you look over your destiny dreams to pray and talk to God about what he promised, what he showed you, what the vision is, what he called you to do, when you need to be reminded, because God never needs to be reminded. God already knows what he had, the plans he has for you. He already knows what he has said to you. So when you are weak, when you are faint, when you don't feel like you know what direction to go in, then you go back over your journal and you look at the promises of God and say to God that this is what you have said to me, and hold fast into what God has said to you. But as far as you sharing it with people, you don't share your destiny dreams with other people unless it's leadership that needs to know that your vision is in alignment with their vision and what you are called to do for you to be a part of, because you don't want to submit your will under somebody else's vision that God has not called you to, that erases your assignment. You need to be in divine alignment with what God is saying to you and what he's given you and what he's called you to do. So in that destiny dream, it is between you and God. Joseph got into trouble because he shared his destiny dream with his siblings, with his family, with his father, and it ended up getting him into the place where he was instead of taking it back to God. When you get a dream from God that represents your destiny, that is showing forth your purpose, that is showing forth the things that God wants to do in you. And let me say this as well. Just because you have one dream of your destiny, it does not mean that God is not going to show up in the midst and show you different compartments and different glimpses of what the next phase is, what the next step is, what the next move is, what it is that God is doing when he's liberating you, when he's elevating you, when he's doing certain things. He shows up in the dream. He don't always have to show up in the dream, but if that's the way he chooses to show up, to show you, once he has showed you your destiny and what it is that he has called you to, the next thing he's going to do is during a pivotal moment when you need to shift or change or transition or whatever, God is going to show up. And in that showing up, he's going to show up and he's going to show you what the next move is, what is the next level, what is the next door, what is the next assignment, or whatever it is. And then you can pursue on until the next thing that he gives you to do. And it may not be in a dream. He may want to speak to you a different way. He may show it to you in a vision. But we should always be paying attention. But my point is, there are many people, and too many people. I get DMs and I get emails of people saying, I don't know my purpose and things of that nature. You don't know your purpose, but you're having dreams. And all of the dreams that you're having, you don't think that God has spoken to you about your purpose and your destiny in a dream? And if he has showed you, you need to humble yourself and ask God to forgive you for overlooking your dreams, for overlooking and not paying attention because you couldn't figure it out. All of this information out here today, we have no excuse. When I was growing up, we didn't have all of this. And God still showed me what I was called to do because I paid attention to the dream vision, because I paid attention to what it was that he was saying. And I'm saying this to say to you, pay attention. Especially when you don't know what you're called to do. Because the enemy knows what you're called to do. And he going to keep boxing you upside your head and doing all of the things that he's doing to you because he knows what's in you. And he's trying to keep you blinded and keep you from knowing what is in you, who you are, and what your purpose is and what God has called you to do. So as long as you don't know, you can't play victim because you have been revealed what your purpose is. but you choose not to pay attention to it. So you already had the dream. Pay attention to your dreams and ask God to bring it to your remembrance as you humble yourself.